Mr. Trump.
Yes or no? Do you think the American-born children of undocumented immigrants should be deported?
Distort. Very simple.
Yes or no?
I don't give yes or no. It's not that easy. You know, for you it's easy. Let me tell you, not that easy. It's a horrible situation that we've placed ourselves in. We have thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants in our country, not only taking jobs, but many of them are causing problems beyond belief. And you see that all over. We have to straighten out the problem with illegal immigration. It starts with getting the bad ones, you know, the gangs in, you saw it, the gangs in Baltimore. You know that, right? Did you see the people? You have illegal immigrants in many cases. In Chicago, illegal immigrants. The bad ones are getting out fast. Day one. If I win day one of my presidency, they're getting out. We're getting them out, and we're getting them out fast. Over a period of time, we're going to work on numerous things. The first thing is building a wall, which Mexico will pay for. Okay? We're going to build it. I know how to do it. It's going to be a real wall, not a toy wall like we have right now. It's 10 feet tall, and it's a fence. We're going to have a real wall. And people are going to come into our country, and I want people to come in. I want people of great talent to come in. But I want a lot of people to come in. They have to come in legally. They've got to come in. If we don't have them come in legally, we don't have a country. We don't have borders. We don't have a country. They have to come in legally. I want them to come in. They have to come in.
Mr. Trump.
Here's what I don't get about the immigration proposal. You want to build a giant wall, and if you build a giant wall, why worry about birthright? If you're going to keep illegal immigrants out, why antagonize people attacking the 14th Amendment?
It's a very big question as to the anchor babies. They've been talking about it for years. There's a very big question as to whether or not the 14th Amendment actually covers this. We're going to find out whether or not it does. Changing the 14th Amendment would take years and years, the long, drawn-out process. A lot of people think that it is absolutely, in terms of anchor babies, that it is not covered. So we're going to find out. But look, here's the story. Here's what happens. Wait a minute. Wait. Here's what's happening. A woman is going to have a baby. They wait on the border. Just before the baby, they come over to the border. They have the baby in the United States. We now take care of that baby. Social Security, Medicare, education. Give me a break. It doesn't work that way. The parents have to come in legally. Now, we're going to have to find out what's going to happen from a court standpoint. But many people, many of the great scholars, say that anchor babies are not covered. We're going to find out.
Mr. Trump.
Education. There was a conference today, 6 candidates, other candidates here, much railing against the federal government's intrusiveness, static statements, reform of the state grid. No one went Ronald Reagan's position that the federal Department of Education shut down.
Well, I think large portions can be. I am not a Common Core person. Jeb Bush wants Common Core. I want local education. And I think large groups and large portions can be shut down. Absolutely. I have no question about that. Look at the Department of Education. They've done such a poor job. We're number 25 or 26 or 28 or 32, depending on which you look at, in the world. We spend, one thing we're number 1 at, and that's a definite number 1. We spend more money per student than any country anywhere in the world. And we're way above number 25 in the world. So we are terrible at education, but we spend far more money than anybody else. The Department of Education has done a terrible job. I happen to be a person that does not believe in Common Core. I believe the people of New Hampshire, locally, should work mostly on the education. Do we allow little pieces? Yes. But largely, it should be shut down. And I'm very surprised to hear that other of the candidates don't want it touched, because that really doesn't.
Mr. Trump.
Say it again.
Jeb Bush is in the state tonight with the town hall. You got under his skin?
Have I gotten under Jeb Bush's skin? I don't know. I will tell you this. You mentioned the word skin. He said the other day, one of the dumber things I've heard ever in politics, when talking about Iraq. that we, the United States, he said, have to show them that we have skin in the game in order to go into Iraq. We've lost $2 trillion, thousands of lives, wounded warriors who I love all over the place. And he's talking about we have to show them that we have skin in the game. And every time a shot is fired, they run because there practically is no Iraq. And Iraq, whatever that is being taken over by Iran after us spending trillions and lives and warriors, wounded warriors. For him to say that we have to show them that we have skin in the game is one of the really dumb statements. I'd say his other dumb statement is an act of love. That they come here for an act of love. And I would say between Common Core, his act of love on immigration, and skin in the game with Iraq, that's the third one that we've now added. I don't see how he's electable. And then on top of that, he talks about women's health issues. And he's against women's health. Now he then comes back a few hours later, he says he misspoke. But he's been on women's health issues. Nobody's going to be better on women's health issues than Donald Trump.
Mr. Trump, you have a...
British television news, can I ask you seem to see the world fairly cleanly divided as winners and losers.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Can I ask you?
I have a much bigger heart than other people, and frankly, than probably any of the candidates that I've heard so far.
Have you ever
Mr.
failed?
Excuse me?
Have you ever failed?
Not often. You want to know the truth? If I fail, not often.
Mr. Trump.
Were arrested for allegedly beating up a Hispanic homeless man.
Who was?
2 men in Boston, 2 brothers, were arrested for allegedly beating up a Hispanic homeless man. And they told cops that it was okay because you were right on immigration. In addition to the Megyn Kelly alleged death threats, are you worried you're inciting violence?
I don't know anything about death threats for Megyn Kelly. You tell me about that. I haven't heard that.
There's reports that she's been threatened by your supporters.
Are you worried about the coming
I am.
Mr. Trump.
I have, excuse me. Please. I have no idea about death threats for Megyn.
What about the Boston brothers who beat up the homeless?
I haven't heard about that. I think that would be a shame, but I haven't heard.
Mr. Trump.
I will say, the people that are following are very passionate. They love this country. They want this country to be great again, and they are very passionate. I will say that, and everybody here has reported it.
Would you
Yes,
say
go ahead.
platonic now?
Have you heard about this?
Go ahead. What do I think about what? I think Heidi Klum is a very nice person. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Trump.
Have you heard about the secret deal that was cut with Iran over allowing Iran to inspect its own nuclear facilities? What do you think about it?
I think it's crazy. I think the whole Iran deal is the dumbest deal that you can imagine. I think it's going to go down as one of the worst deals in the history of this country, maybe of the world. It is a total and complete catastrophe. And, you know, it's beyond even talking about it. So it's hard to believe that people actually, do we have negotiators? Do we have anybody that knows what they're doing? Not only the 24 days, which, by the way, it's much more than that, because the 24 days to start the clock takes a long time. Not only the fact that they still have our prisoners, every single aspect of that deal is incompetent. And it's a deal that should be approved. And the amazing thing is, even if it's not approved now, they get $150 billion plus. And they're going to use that money for terror all over the world. It is one of the great dumb deals of our
The
time.
White House assured us that there were no side deals, and yet we find out today that in fact there was.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised to hear that there are side deals. The White House doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, that's been proven, whether it's Obamacare with a $5 billion website. The White House truly has no clue what they're doing. And the Iran deal is a disaster. It's a disaster. It's going to lead to, in my opinion, nuclear proliferation. It's going to, so many things are going to come out of that deal for the bad. And I'll tell you, Israel is in big trouble. Probably something will happen. Because Israel, I don't know how Israel can live with that deal.
Mr. Trump.
Martin O'Malley today is in Las Vegas, and he was staging an event in Vegas with some of the employees at your hotel trying to get them to unionize. Do you have any response to what Martin O'Malley did?
Well, I know nothing about him. I think he's got less than 1% on the poll. And I did see my beautiful building on television, the Birthright. It's a beautiful, tallest building in Las Vegas. I'm very proud of it. Most beautiful building in Las Vegas. I know he was in front, and as you know, we've won, let me say it, nicer word, we've won with the employees. Let's see what happens. We have employees that love us. They decided not to go union, and that's a great honor as far as I'm concerned. You know, they love me, they love us. Martin O'Malley was there to try and get some publicity, which he desperately needs. And I think he was the one that said that lives don't matter. White lives don't matter. I mean, is he the one that apologized almost in tears because he made a mistake of saying? Is that the same Martin O'Malley that we're talking about? I think he should be ashamed of himself.
Mr. Trump.
I really know that. I heard he was in front of one of my buildings to try and get some publicity, and I think it was in Las Vegas.
Mr. Trump.
Yes.
There's a report that you are considering going to join the sector if you're in regular contact with
No, I would not. I have great respect for Ted Cruz, and he's been very supportive of some of my tough stances. And actually, he's done well. And guys like Perry and our senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, who's got zero. How do you get zero? Can you explain? How do you get zero? Does that mean that out of thousands of people that are voting, you got none? Well, he has nothing. The people that attacked me, now Rand Paul is going down the tubes. And he hit me all of a sudden. I mean, he was doing very poorly. He hit me. He went down. One of the great honors is that everybody that attacks me seems to go down. Ted Cruz and Carson, who's been, you know, really terrific. They've been great. A few of the others have been great. Meaning we all get along, because we should get along. But some of them attack me fairly viciously, and when they attack, you have to attack back.
Mr. Trump.
Harley is going up in the
Yeah, she's a very nice woman. She really.
Mr. Trump.
Donald, you say you have to take part. Donald, you say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
James Foley was beheaded a year ago.
Yes, I know James Foley's parents very well.
I talked to John Casey this week. He said he would put ground troops in Syria to attack ISIS at its core. Would you, and as you leave the Republican view, do you find yourself spending more time thinking conceptually about how to defeat ISIS? And would you share your thoughts?
I would defeat ISIS. And I'm okay with what he said. But I would defeat ISIS, absolutely. And I think the whole James Foley thing, as you know, I was up here a year ago making a speech for Joe McQuaid and the group in honor of the Foley family and James Foley. And I got to know his parents very well, made a contribution to the foundation. James Foley was a fantastic young man. And we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. We have to stop it. And we have to stop it fast. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it now. I sort of explained that to you strongly. And I would cut off big sources of their financing. Go ahead.
Mr. Trump.
Both, by the way, both at the bank level and at the oil level. Go ahead.
In 2012, you said that the GOP was mean-spirited about immigration. Now you seem to have the most hawkish stance.
I don't think I'm mean-spirited. We have to get back our country. Look, our country is going down. We have to get back our country. It's based on laws. These are illegal. Now, people like to say undocumented because that's politically correct. I don't say that. These people came in illegally. Some are excellent, they're wonderful, but they have to go out. Now, they can come back in, but they have to come in legally. We can even expedite the process. I think that's fine. I like that. And then you have some really bad ones. The gangs. You got gangs roving, hurting people, killing people. You look at what happened to Kate in San Francisco. So we have to be able to get the we got bad dudes out there, bad ones. And we'll get them out so fast. Let me tell you, if I'm president, we'll get them out of here so fast your head's gonna spin.
Mr. Trump.
Donald, this point, you said that you have a big heart and that you're not mean-spirited. Are you aware that the term anger baiting, that's an offensive term? People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct and yet everybody uses it?
Look it up in the dictionary.
So you know what? Give me a different term. Give me a different term. What else would you like to
The
say?
child, the American-born child of undocumented
You
immigrant.
want me to say that? I'll use the word aggravate. Excuse me. I'll use the word aggravate.
Mr. Trump.
Mr. Trump, do you believe that wealth equals wisdom?
No, not at all.
Mr. Trump.
Would I be a smart person?
Mr. Trump, hundreds of people.
Raped by the Democrats because he was a wealthy, successful businessman.
He wasn't very wealthy.
What makes you think the same won't happen to you?
Was he wealthy? He let us down. Mitt Romney let us down. He should have won that election. He failed. He choked. In the end, no different than a golfer that misses a putt on the 18th hole. No different than a man who strikes out a baseball player. He let us down. Mitt Romney should have won that election, and he didn't. Something happened to him. And that's not going to happen to me.
Mr. Trump, hundreds of people were in...
I don't know. I can tell you this, he disappeared. At the end, he just disappeared. Say what you want about Obama. He was on Jay Leno, he was on Letterman, he was on all the shows. I called up I said, why aren't you doing more television? What? Obama's on every show, where are you? He just disappeared.
Mr. Trump...
Honestly, I think he choked.
Mr. Trump, hundreds of people were in line today.
She's released a rather complete health assessment. You're the front runner with Republicans. When are we going to hear about the state of your health from your doctors?
I actually saw a doctor. I had a physical the other day, and they said,
"Can we hear it from him?"
Really good. Yeah, you can all. You like to get that. I would do that anytime. Yeah, very good.
Okay, to be clear,
Mr. Trump, hundreds of people.
Your father, was a soul. You reported he died after a long battle with Alzheimer's.
He was 88 years old when he developed it, and he died at 94.
Have you had any concerns with that?
No, not whatsoever.
Mr. Trump.
My mother was 88, 89, and she was in amazingly great health. So my father too was in great health. They lived long lives. Yes.
Mr. Trump.
Mr. Trump, you said earlier in this press conference that you would support women's health. Could you give some more statistics on that? And do you think that some of the other candidates in the Republican race are out of touch on women's health issues?
Well, I think Jeb Bush is totally out of touch on women's health issues. I mean, totally. Because he basically said he wasn't going to fund it. Now, he came back after his pollster told him, oh, you made a mistake. He came back a few hours later and he said he misspoke. But I'll be very, very strong, very powerful on women's health issues.
Mr. Trump, hundreds of people were in line today.
Who do I see as strongest? You know, it changes from, the only thing constant is Trump. I mean, all of them change on the bottom. They're going up and down like yo-yos. But I've been up there for a long time, and I hope I'm going to be up there for a long time. You know, I read a lot of the phony reports, a couple of reports today in the paper saying, oh, well, you know, when Donald Trump gets tired of doing this, he's doing great, and he's leading all the polls, but at some point of it, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing this to make America great again.
Mr. Trump, hundreds...
Again is a very important word. Very important word. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Mr. Trump.
I don't need people funding me like the other candidates. I have people coming up all the time wanting to give me millions of dollars. $5 million last week I turned down from one man. He said, I don't want your money. And I think that resonates with me. I really think it resonates.
Mr. Trump, hundreds of people were in line today to see you.
Excuse me?
Sanctuary cities?
Oh, sanctuary cities. It is a disgrace. What happened in San Francisco and other places, sanctuary cities should be defunded and should be just gotten rid of. Sanctuary cities are a disgrace. Go
What
ahead.
do you suggest Massachusetts politicians do about it?
We'll talk about that. Go ahead.
Mr. Trump, last week you said in one of your interviews that you're a world-class fighter, that makes you a winner. Do you help me understand what you meant by that?
Well, somebody wrote an article that I was a whiner, that I complained. And I said, you know, he's actually right.